Are they about 45 seconds behind us? Because
yes.
They look like about 25 bus stops back.
Well, maybe a minute now. It's kind of longer we're on the more.
Oh, no, they're catching up. They're catching up. Okay, so Shira says... Okay, they don't like that. Shira says, I don't know about the Holocaust being a punishment from God.
Do you do many Holocaust jokes when you're setting up and doing comedy?
No, I mean, not really, but I don't have a problem with them, but it's not my thing. I don't really do jokes. No, the Holocaust is from God. It's not my thing. It's who talks about it at great depth is Rabbi Victor Miller. If you read the book Rejoice, O Youth, he spends a whole thing. I mean, it's not something I can do in 5 minutes here.
Yeah.
You have to read the book, hundreds of pages. You'll see how, without a question, without any room left for doubt, and he takes every single detail of what led up to the Holocaust and what the Jews were doing wrong, and you will see that every single detail that happened during the Holocaust was what's called mita keneged mita. And it says when God gives out, metes out punishments, he does it measure for measure. And each one of these things was one against the other, and it's like, you'll just see it. It's like, the women said, well, you know what, we don't have to be sneeze anymore, we don't need to cover our elbows, we only need to cover here, so God put, numbers on their arms, and then they said, we don't need to identify themselves as Jewish anymore, we can be like Goyim, so God slapped on a yellow star on everybody, and you'll just see like one for one all the way down the line, and Rabbi Victor Miller saw something with his own eyes. He saw when he was in the town of Lodz. He was going to yeshiva in Slobodka, and he was in the town of Lodz for a Shabbos, which is in Poland, and he used to watch on Shabbos the trains. This was pre-war. He used to watch the trains filling up, and everybody on Saturday morning was going to work, and it was full of Jews going on the trains. 2 years later, those same trains were going, and they were filled with Jews heading to the camps. I mean, you'll just see all of these things, and it's all one for one. What one for one is? It's mita keneged mita. But like I said, I can't do justice for this in 5 minutes. Read Rejoice, O Youth, and you'll see it.
Now in Numbers chapter 22 verse 21 it talks about Balaam saddling his ass, and I'm reading the Ascroll commentary now, and it says, surely it was not fitting for a man of Balaam's stature to saddle his own donkey. I noticed this attitude in a lot of rabbinic literature, this I don't know, this idea that manual work is somehow beneath the man of great stature. It's not an American point of view. Like in America, we think work ennobles. Like, we think work is good, and we'd see nothing wrong with, we'd see nothing wrong with a millionaire or a billionaire washing his own car, or saddling his own donkey, or vacuuming his own floor, or like I remember when I used to work construction, the multi-millionaire boss would often just like get right in there with us and like work away and get dirty, and like we loved him for it because that's like kind of the American way that work is ennobling. But I find this attitude in a lot of rabbinic literature that a lot of manual work is kind of beneath someone of great stature.
I think that America is built on the Protestant ethic. I think the work ethic. Mm-hmm. People associate. You want to be godly, you have to work and stuff, and that's not necessarily the Jewish way. Jewish is always learning. It's learning all the time. And Judaism doesn't value working. In fact, we did look at it as a distraction from learning Torah.
Well, in the same commandment that commands us to keep the Sabbath, it says, 6 days shall you work.
6 days shall you do things that you're not allowed to do on Shabbos. But the idea of working for a living, which should be a different word.
What's the word? Is it malacha?
Malacha is the word that talks about,
what's the word when it says 6 days you shall work? So is it malacha?
Malacha.
So what does that word mean, malacha?
Malacha is a, how do you type that in English? Malacha is a,
things you do.
39 efforts, if you will. That's a terrible translation, but it's 39 these are the 39 efforts, for instance, of the things that you can't do on Shabbos. These are the things that you'd be doing all week. You're not allowed to do them on Shabbos. It's got nothing to do with the idea of what we call going to work, which is like earning a living, being mefarnes. It doesn't say on 6 days a week you're going to be mefarnes, that you're going to do something for a living, and on the seventh day you rest. That's not what it's about at all. It means 6 days you're going to do things like cut leather,
make shoes,
exactly. But you're not allowed to do those things on Shabbos.
Stocks.
Right. But working for a living, that's not something necessarily a Jew has to do. In fact, the Rambam warns against it. He says that you should not work more than 3 hours a day. That the people back then, they had their own fields or whatever, and they had their own crops, or they were farmers or ranchers, and they would take a break from the base midrash, from learning. They'd learn in the morning, daven, then they'd go work the field for 3 hours, and then come back and learn the rest of the day. From those 3 hours, they could do enough work that they could support themselves the rest of the year. They had a store in the market that they had for 3 hours, and everybody would go shopping at the same time or whatever. And this is the Jewish way. Today, you have the Protestant. We live in America, so it's a Protestant ethic, so everybody has to do the minimum of 40 hours a week. Which, whoa, that's not a Jewish concept. And you see that some places, if you work, they want you to work like 70 or 80 hours a week. That's really not the Jewish way.
So the Jewish view is not that work is inherently ennobling.
No. The Jewish view, the Torah view, is work is by essence a distraction from learning Torah.
And what about when God said to Adam, by the sweat of your brow you'll have to earn your living? Didn't God tell Adam to get to work and work 80 hours a week?
No. That's a Protestant explanation of it. He never said 80 hours a week.
What was God telling Adam, you think?
He's going to have to plant his own trees. The universe being created and ready to go is only going to happen one time. But you don't have to work 8 hours a day. That's you hired goyim to do that.
Exactly.
You hired goyim to do that. They're the ones that should be schlepping your bag. They're the ones should be doing all your work. And Jews should, make an appearance. Like you said, that guy comes in, he makes an appearance 3 hours a day, and then he goes back and learns.
Now, according to Rashi, animals are allowed to see spiritual beings that are blocked from the human eye, because human intelligence would cause people to live in constant fear. They could perceive everything around them. I think that's true.
Rashi says it?
Mm-hmm.
Can you show me that, Rashi? What number?
I'm just looking at the Art Scroll commentary, so it's
20.
Rashi and Rambam.
20, 22, 23. 22,
Yeah.
23?
Yeah.
22, 23 Rashi. I don't have a Rashi there. 22, 23. This? 22, 23?
Mm-hmm. So this is the story of Bilam saddling the donkey, and the donkey seeing an angel in the road with a sword, and
I don't have that.
Bilam couldn't see it. Okay, well, I'm just using the Out Scroll notes here. According to the Ramban, that means Nachmanides, angels are not physical beings and cannot be seen by people or animals. So in Bilam's case, it was not the she-donkey actually saw the angel, rather that the donkey sensed that it was in danger, for figuratively a being with a drawn sword stood before it. So just some thoughts from the Out Scroll Chumash, Stone Edition Chumash.
Twenty-two, 23 says that?
According to
on Rashi?
Mm-hmm. Well, it may not be the commentary on 23. It just says that Rashi says animals are allowed to see spiritual beings that are blocked from the human.
Oh, okay, I do have that.
Okay.
Yeah, God makes it possible for them to see it more than a person could see it. So, yeah, I believe it. Rashi says it. It's good enough for me.